With the holidays right around the corner, it's time for me to start planning all the festive meals and treats for the season. Frozen Washington red raspberries are the ultimate holiday shortcut to flavor, as they are picked at peak ripeness and frozen within hours to lock in their bright, sweet, tart taste. I love raspberries in my desserts, and boy does this cran raspberry pecan tart sound delicious. Grown by passionate farmers in Washington state, they're frozen with care to ensure top quality and food safety, and it always feels good to support local American farmers. And here's the best part. They're always in season. When you buy American-grown frozen raspberries, you're getting fresh off the field flavor all year long. You can find them at Costco, Kroger, Meijer, and Winco Foods. Make sure to look for product in the U.S. on the bag. Check out True Fruit Mars Hyper Chilled Chocolate-Covered Raspberries and Smucker's Raspberry Jam. Want to learn more details on where to find American frozen red raspberries plus recipe ideas and cooking tips? Head to redraz.org. That's redrazz.org. You'll find participating retailers as an inspiration for every meal, plus info on how these berries go from farm to freezer with quality you can taste.
All right, fellow romantasy lovers, I've been waiting to talk about this one because it completely took my weekend. The epic romantasy finale, Dawn of Chaos and Fury by Melissa K. Roerick, is finally here. And if you're into anything Book Talk is raving about right now, you need this. This is the fourth and final book in the Legacy series, a dark romantasy packed with fae, dragons, shifters, vampires, witches, meddling gods, you name it. And what I love about this world is that it's not your typical medieval fantasy backdrop. Think high fantasy meets modern tech. Magic everywhere, but people are still texting, driving, dating, using computers. It gives big Crescent City vibes in the best way. And honestly, I got so pulled into the emotional roller coaster. The heroine is dealing with depression and anxiety, and the way the story handles her mental health made the stakes feel so real. Plus, the tropes. Fated mates, morally gray chaos, one bed, touch her and die. It's basically a Book Talk bingo card of everything we love. Now, if you haven't read the series yet, this is the series finale, so don't start here. But the good news, all 4 books are out now, and they make such a great gift for that friend who is constantly reading romantasy and keeping up with every online book trend. Dawn of Chaos and Fury is on sale now, available for the first time as a Kensington trade paperback and ebook. So grab your copy and dive into the chaos. You can find Dawn of Chaos and Fury by Melissa K. Roerick wherever books are sold in print and in ebook.
Welcome to our mini-series, The 8 Days of Dating Optimism, your pre-New Year reboot that helps you rebuild hope and confidence for finding love in the new year. Enjoy!
Today's world makes it feel like truly good men are rare, that it's near impossible to find someone who actually shows up, communicates, and puts an effort into a relationship. This episode is a reminder that they absolutely do exist. Yes, there are shitty men out there. There are shitty people out there. But there are incredible ones we've met by doing this podcast who are absolutely doing the work to become emotionally available and committed partners. In day 6 of our 8 days of dating optimism, we're shifting the focus to the skills, habits, and intentionality that make relationships thrive. Not in a grand performative way, but in the small, consistent ways that actually matter. To again remind you to keep your standards high, because the right person will want to meet them. In this episode that originally aired in 2020, we're joined by Vasanth, who breaks down the everyday things that help you become a better partner. He has this grounded, thoughtful way of talking about relationships that instantly restores your faith in men who put in emotional effort and genuinely care about showing up well. Listening back, I remember thinking how refreshing it was to hear a man talk openly about the importance of small gestures, attunement, and learning your partner's needs. It reminded me that dating isn't about lowering your standards. It's about trusting that the right men are out there, doing the work, and wanting to meet someone who's doing the work too. We dive into why little actions have such a huge ROI, how to adjust your approach based on your partner's love language, and why this isn't a one-way street. Women can and absolutely should be doing these things too. If you've ever felt discouraged or convinced that emotional effort is asking for too much, this episode is your reminder that aligned, intentional, emotionally available men exist, and they're looking looking for someone who values this level of care just as much as they do. Make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen so you don't miss another episode of this series. And while you're there, leaving us a 5-star review truly helps more than you know. It means the world. All right, enjoy. You know what I love about this show, other than the fact that we do the show, is the fact that we talk about observations in modern dating, but we also talk about ways of dating better and smarter. And I love that we don't talk from a place of like, oh, everybody knows their shit. It's more like we're all sharing. It's like crowdsourcing ways of dating better, which makes me feel really good about the advice that's given on the show.
Yeah, for sure. 100% agree.
So the topic we want to talk about today with our guest Vasanth is how to be a good boyfriend by doing the little things. Ooh.
I love this.
So he lives in San Francisco. He's been here for 10 years, originally from Indiana. He's in his late 30s, single and actively going on dates. So he says this, he's like, I am a hopeless romantic looking to sweep a girl off her feet, just trying to find the right partner to share in life's adventures. So much that he created a boyfriend manual, which focuses on doing the little things to make a girl happy. Things that guys just aren't naturally wired to do, yet are so easy and impactful in making a woman feel loved. This is exactly how my boyfriend talks about cooking with me. He's like, you don't need to make these like amazing dishes. You know, when we cook, because I don't really cook, and this quarantine has forced me to really like cook, you know, together
Nothing
with
like
it.
a pandemic to force you to learn how to cook.
It
Exactly.
really, seriously, and I'm enjoying it, but learn like one little dish. It's the little dishes, and then you can build up from there. So I think it's similar in this way. I mean, first of all, why do you think the little things matter? And what are these little things that you are talking about?
Happy to share. I mean, the whole point is I think there are a bunch of little things that guys can do that can actually, you know, make them a better boyfriend. And it's just things that guys aren't naturally trained to do. It's just our brains aren't wired that way. I kind of figured this out. It's not like I was studying this or anything. I just kind of realized in dating in my early and mid 20s, just there are certain things I was doing that had really good effects, and certain things that, you know, weren't that impactful. And I mean, I'm going to reference a book that's pretty well known, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. One of the key things there is guys tend to do grand gestures, but less frequently. And women, not all women, but some women, maybe a majority of women, would prefer more constant gestures. I mean, yeah, if you could have a grand gesture every day, sure, we'd love that. But I think that book was talking about the fact that a lot of women want the feeling just to know that they're always loved. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing gestures that aren't as frequent, you don't necessarily know that. So I think I was just doing these little things, and my girlfriend at the time knew. I could see a reaction on her when I would do these little things, and she just wanted to have that, you know, feeling of knowing that like my boyfriend, you know, is constantly in love with me.
So grand gestures versus little things could be relative depending on who you're talking to. So when you talk about the little things, what are you talking about?
Just something small that puts a smile on her face.
Example?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll drop a note in a girl's purse that she'll like randomly see like later in the week, or maybe 2 weeks later. And I'm not going to describe the contents of the note because it varies per person. But the whole point is, there's a great line from a movie: the best gift is an unexpected gift at an unexpected time, right? It doesn't even matter what the gift is.
Right.
So just to see, you know, grab that, randomly come across this note and to know that, oh, my guy is thinking about me in this way.
You told me one when we talked about this, about the towel.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that one?
It's a more advanced move, but
this is level 3.
Yeah, they're different levels. You graduate.
These are so basic. So so yeah, when my girlfriend would go take a shower, it was a chilly day, I would grab her towel and throw it in the dryer. This is assuming you have washer dryer in your unit, because if you have to leave the house, especially during quarantine, it really doesn't make sense. But assuming you have washer dryer in unit, I would throw the dryer in there. And then when I heard the water turn off, I'd grab the towel and hand it to her.
Wow.
And it was like 30 seconds round trip for me to go grab the towel, put it in there, and then
low investment, high return.
Exactly.
Okay, so obviously, I would love to get the random note too, for sure. I'm not saying that I wouldn't, but I feel like that second one is like totally not cliche and expected at all. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's such like one of those things like, oh my God, he really thought about me for a second.
Yeah, I think that's what it is when you realize you occupy someone's mind when you least expect it, that's when the actions are more impactful.
Wait, I want to hear more. Are there more?
What's another advanced move?
What's level 5?
To be honest, it varies per person. That's the thing. It's same with gift giving. There's no standard formula, right? It's just paying attention and putting a little bit of thought. I think that goes a long way. As you said, it's just knowing that you are occupying a guy's headspace, hopefully in a good way.
Yeah. What are some, Julie, I feel like you've given an example of you doing little things for your ex by bringing him coffee, and he was just so appreciative of that.
Oh, a bagel. Yeah.
A bagel.
Well, my ex actually recently did something else that I really liked. When I was in the other room, he left voice memos on Alexa just saying like, I love you.
That's cute.
Well, this is where it got funny is like he thought it would just like send a text message to me, but then it just started to like occupy Alexa and turn the whole thing yellow. I don't know if I've never gotten a voice memo on Alexa before because I live by myself, so why would I be leaving myself voice memos? And it just started like spiraling yellow like nonstop, and we're like, oh my God, it's possessed, because I walked in and I heard him leaving the message. But then I eventually had to unplug Alexa because I'm like, something's wrong with it.
He broke Alexa.
I Googled it. It was like this, it means you have a new message. And then I listened to the message, and that's when we heard the messages. Like, we were together when he left the messages, but it was a really cute sentiment.
I thought what you were going to say was he put the message on a timer, like told Alexa to tell you he loves you at like 6:50. That would freak me out though if that happened. If you live by yourself and all of a sudden Alexa's like, blah, 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 wants to say, I love you.
Well, it was actually his voice, which was kind of cool. Like,
see,
it was
that's better if it's his voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's Alexa telling you that she loves you, it doesn't have the same sentiment.
Then it's generic. I remember even a few years ago, there was this app. I forgot. It might have been, it was Boyfriend something, but it was essentially, it's covering up for bad behavior. So basically you pay the service. It was an app. I think it was like $4 or something like that. I don't know if it was $4 a month or $4 total.
I totally remember this.
And it would send your significant other a random text in the middle of the day. Yep. And you didn't even have to program it. You have to tell it like what things to say. It was generic, applied across, the universe. That's just covering up for being lazy. And that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm actually just trying to make things, show guys easy things to do. Because if you look at it, you said something about investment. So if you're going to think about it from finance terms, if you look at a grand gesture, your return on investment there isn't actually as high as you think it might be. But on the small things, it's actually super high because the investment is so low. Like I said, that towel thing, it was 30 seconds of my time, and the smile it put on her face. And there were times where she did it for me. And it's just, I'm not gonna lie, who doesn't like a warm towel? It's really nice.
You can't deny that. For some people, this is just not in their repertoire. So they're like, what are the little things I could possibly be doing? And I would start by saying, don't do things for the sake of doing them. Do it because your girlfriend or boyfriend likes certain things. Like, obviously, everybody loves the hot towel, but I also know some guys really hate being hot right after the shower. They're like, I can't stop sweating. So maybe that's not a great idea for them, but something that's tailored towards your partner.
Let's go back to level 1. Let's really make it super easy, because I think we got super excited and want to jump ahead, but let's go way back to level 1, on par with the leaving the little notes. What are 3 other examples?
So the thing I'd encourage is just in your free time. I am a romantic, so I tend to think about how to make someone happy. My biggest goal is what can I do to make her smile, and that's the thing that's most important to me. And I get satisfaction from from seeing that reaction on her face. So, if I'm pretty into somebody, either I'm falling in love with them or I'm already in love with them. They tend to be on my mind a lot. And I just, when I come across something random, I'm just like, oh yeah, this she would appreciate this. So it's just kind of being in that mindset. Okay, here's a super cheesy example. I was watching the show Friends. It had to have been a rerun, I'm sure. And Monica and Rachel would leave themselves little notes in the steam mirror, right? And I'm just like, oh, this is something that she would appreciate. So I would just, if she was showering and I'm not able to do the towel thing, because like, let's say I had to go to work or something, right? I would just sometimes leave a little note. I'd wipe my forehead to get a little bit of extra oil on my finger so that the note would stay in the, on the mirror, not just that day, but maybe for multiple days.
Ooh,
and it's just, it's just getting simple ideas from other sources and just thinking, oh, the person I'm with would actually appreciate that.
One example I can think of is I love it when my boyfriend wakes up in the morning and makes an extra cup of coffee or tea for me. So when I wake up, it's ready and it's hot. That it's so easy because all he has to do is just bring out another cup. But to me, it means it makes my day.
Right. Well, it makes it seem like he's not just thinking about him. He's thinking about you guys together.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking of another gesture that you had. I think maybe multiple boyfriends of yours have done this.
Oh boy,
so maybe you've trained them somehow. I feel like you always get picked up from the airport or like given some, like didn't like your current boyfriend, first of all, he picked you up from LA during coronavirus. So that was like a pretty big gesture. That's a grand gesture. Yes. Yeah, that one's pretty good. Or at least in advance.
He drove to LA to pick you up?
Yeah. Yeah, I was on a company trip in LA and right before the lockdowns happened, and he picked me up that weekend to drive me back.
Wow.
That's a pretty good one.
That's a pretty good one.
Didn't he also buy you like groceries too?
No, he wins. He wins a lot. So the first month that we were together, I took a trip, and when I came back, he picked me up from the airport and he bought groceries for me, knowing that I wouldn't have food in my fridge when I came back. That's never happened.
Awesome.
That was such a great. I think that's a level 3. That's probably a pretty advanced.
But maybe that's pretty advanced. That's an interesting example because we're talking about tailoring. And if he had known you well, he might have known that you actually don't really cook, and it doesn't matter.
Right.
But it still went a long way, though.
It went a long way, and it was like all the staples. So I definitely ate most of it. It wasn't like for cooking. Yeah, I know. This girl knows how to eat. Yes,
that's true. That's true. It could be like snacks too. Didn't you also have another ex-boyfriend like put together some like package?
Oh my gosh, yes. So the one before this one. This was really good too. It was also. It's always like in the first few months. So don't let this die down, guys. Just, keep it going. But in the first few months, I also took a trip. It was a pretty long trip. And before it, he took me to the airport and got me this huge like travel package with like a travel brush and travel tubes and travel socks. And it was like travel everything. It was and like a passport holder. It was really, really thoughtful, and a ton of snacks that I love.
So travel often. That's how you get rich. That's how you get gestures.
Make yourself inaccessible.
I feel like I don't know anyone else that's gotten as many like travel airport related things as you.
Interesting. I don't know. I feel like some of the men I've spoken to, not just dated, but outside of dating, have told me that they really enjoy picking up.
Yeah.
From the airport because it makes them feel like they're providing, and also it's a great way to bond.
Literally the main reason I still have a car, because I don't
to pick girls up from the airport.
Oh no, just whoever, right? Picking my friends who are visiting up, for my folks who are visiting. Definitely when I had a long distance girlfriend, right? But just anybody, I think it's
a really nice gesture.
Yeah,
it's what we used to do back in the day. And there's no reason why we shouldn't, unless it's super inconvenient.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, nothing is more annoying too than getting off like a long flight and having to get an Uber. So I think like having that person come and save you and just take you home is like, it's so nice. It's such a relief.
Yeah, and also low investment too.
Yeah, that one's like a medium. It's like you gotta leave your house, but it's not huge.
Yeah.
A gesture I did that you brought up earlier is I brought my boyfriend at the time a bagel. And like, I honestly didn't even think anything of it. I wasn't thinking like, oh, I should do a gesture. I got up early. He was still sleeping. I like went to get coffee. I just knew he liked bagels. So I'm like, oh, I'll grab him one. And like, he thought it was like the biggest deal. So you just never know like what's going to really get someone. I think that's what you were trying to say, is it's very much knowing them and tailoring it accordingly.
And no gesture is too small.
No, gestures. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like one thing, with one of my exes, she, look, I love lemonade. It's my favorite drink. And she made this amazing, like, we were long distance. So whenever I'd visit, she'd always like make freshly squeezed lemonade. But there was one time where I was in San Francisco and I was just working my butt off. And she knew I had a really busy week. And she had, this is like at the dawn of all these food delivery services. Mm-hmm. So she had this like freshly pressed juice sent to me.
Wow.
And that was just, seems simple now because like everyone has these services, but like this is probably like seven years ago.
That's really sweet.
You know who you are if you're listening to this.
Oh, it's time to revisit.
So that actually brings up an interesting question. I guess the question I have is, does it have to be just men? Because I think this was started as men are not really like thinking about this type of behavior that often. And that was kind of what you were starting with, is like this better boyfriend manual. But we just gave examples of women doing this. Like, what are our thoughts of like gender roles here? And is this kind of fair game, or should it be fair game for everyone?
Let's take a quick break from this episode to acknowledge America's best value meal kit, Every Plate. If you're like me, I am so over having to figure out what to cook for every meal. Not only does Every Plate take care of the planning for you, it is also the best price meal kit out there. One meal is the same price as 1 cup of coffee. And their easy to follow and pre-proportioned recipes come together in about 30 minutes. My most recent delivery included mouth-watering meals like mushu beef and scallop linguine. Now you can get 3 weeks of Every Plate meals for only $2.99 per meal by going to everyplate.com and entering the code DATEABLE3. Again, get 3 weeks of Every Plate meals for only $2.99 per meal by going to everyplate.com and entering the code DATEABLE, the number 3. Now back to the show.
What are our thoughts of like gender roles here? And is this kind of fair game, or should it be fair game for everyone?
Traditionally might fall under a little bit of gender role just because of, the book I was quoting, and that men are from Mars, women are from Venus. And it said that in the book, that women tend to appreciate more frequent gestures. So maybe it just falls into gender roles the way you traditionally think about them. But the way we think about gender roles now is shifting from the traditional mold. So, I think it works both ways.
That's true. That book was written a long time ago.
Right? But think about a more modern version of that, the 5 love languages, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's one of you mentioned acts of service, and that's one of the love languages. And I think it's just understanding what your partner likes, because we often tend to give in the way that we like to receive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the whole points of 5 love languages. So if you just get to understanding what it is that your partner, how they like to receive love, then if that's just on your head, then you naturally will come up with these little things.
I also feel like if you're in a loving relationship, you'll naturally want to do these things for each other. So it's not so much like tit for tat. It's not like, oh, I did something for you, you do something back. I think even in your situation, Vasanth, you just want a simple appreciation, a smile, kind of like a gesture of just like, you've been thinking about me. I really appreciate it. And that's enough for you. So I think it doesn't even have to be a little thing, physical thing that you do. It could just be verbal appreciation too.
Right. I totally agree. I was going to say actually something similar to the love languages. I don't think this is gender agnostic whatsoever. I think it really depends on like how people like to receive love. And I think I've been trying to wrestle with like why I like these little things better than the grand gesture. And I think for me, I'm not a huge gifts person. That's like probably the lowest of my love languages. And I think sometimes grand gesture, granted, if someone was like, I'm going to pay for an all expenses trip to somewhere, I'd probably be super excited. But like, just like, I guess that to me, for whatever reason, doesn't count as a grand gesture. I don't know why, but that's my own shit. But I think, what I'm trying to say long-windedly is I think like with these small things, like it can be acts of service, like you're doing something for someone, but it also hits words of affirmation. Like you were saying, if you're leaving little notes around, or you're saying I love you through Amazon Alexa, or leaving like notes on the Steam mirror, like after a shower, like that is also words of affirmation also. So it hits like multiple love languages. It's not just acts of service. And I think even quality time, I feel like there's something about, like you said earlier, Vasanth, that was like, you know that you're present in someone's mind all the time. So maybe even if you're not like physically together, there's something nice that you know that like that quality of time is there.
Yeah. And it has to be contextually right. I want to figure out a way to best articulate this, because I always think about your example, Julie, of going on that date with the guy at sunset underneath the Golden Gate Bridge, and how that date was so memorable, but the guy wasn't, you know, it was like the wrong context. And I would hate for everyone to go out and do like little things or even grand gestures and not be remembered, you know, and be overpowered by the gesture. So I really think just tailoring this act or this gift to the person you're with, that's first and foremost the most important.
Absolutely.
If that's what they like. You know, some people might actually prefer, like, if you're talking about a gift, they actually might prefer like an expensive gift over thought.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's wrong or right. It's just some people do prefer that. And other people actually prefer the thought that's put into a gift. You know, it's not like one person is 100% one way or the other. You know, you could probably do a mix of both, right? Sometimes they do like nice things. Then other times it's nice to have something that was like well thought out.
Right. I think that's why, like, again, like flowers, like no one's going to say that they don't enjoy getting flowers, right? But maybe the flowers aren't as memorable as like the towel, for example, because it's more generic, especially if you have like an inside joke or something that is really tailored to you. I think there's just like a lot of opportunity to make more of a lasting impression.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about this, most of these do fall under acts of service or quality time. And those things just take thought. And, you know, going back to the gender role thing, I'd actually love to see a study. You know, when you think about the 5 love languages, do they actually split a little bit differently on genders? I don't know.
So I have a level 2 or an intermediate that I've done for someone, and I'm still really proud of it till this day. It's been like 10 years.
You're like, you're beaming about this. You have pride. You really set the expectation high now.
I feel like I've told this story on a previous episode, but it doesn't matter because I repeat myself all the time. Anyway, this was in New York. I was really into this guy. And for one of our dates, like 5th or 6th date, we went to this restaurant and they handed us calendars. Remember this, Julie? I don't know. Maybe I haven't told this story.
But keep going. Maybe it'll come back to me.
The waiter handed us calendars because it was like December. So it was for the next year. And we kind of just looked at it like, what? Who has calendars on their walls anymore? And it was like such a waste. So when we were leaving the restaurant, made this joke about mailing the calendars to Santa because it was like around Christmas time. So we put it in a mailbox. And the day after we did that, I went back to the restaurant, asked for another calendar, and I mailed it to his work. And in that calendar, I wrote, this is a return from Santa. I don't want your calendar. And so when he got it, 1, he was really surprised. But 2, he was just like, thanks for thinking about me, you know, because it was just an inside joke that we had. So to me, that was level 2 because I had to go to the restaurant.
I don't know. I think this actually seems more advanced than the towel.
Really?
I mean,
from an investment standpoint, yeah.
I mean, you had to
buy
like
a stamp.
Yeah, you had to like go somewhere physically, right? Like
that's true. Twice. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like this is pretty advanced.
So I'll give you an example, and I'll let you classify as to what level it is.
Perfect. I love this game.
So I was ex-girlfriend. We were actually visiting, or she was visiting my parents. I think it was my mom's birthday or something. This lady, she's originally from Minnesota. So there's a brand of coffee shop out there called Caribou Coffee. And there happened to be one in Indianapolis. And I knew that we were downtown for something else. And I'm like, oh, let me just take us, by there. I happened to just look it up, and it was slightly out of the way, but like, we're driving. So I'm like, we just kind of like stroll by it. And she got so excited, like where she currently lived, which was in the South, they didn't have any of these Caribou coffees. And I'm not saying their coffee, this is not a plug for Caribou. I have no idea. I'm
not a sponsor.
I'm not a coffee drinker. So, but she was super excited because maybe it just brought her a sense of home. The fact that she's visiting my family's home, that was the feeling that I was trying to elicit.
That's very sweet.
And it was, it was so easy.
I say that's between intermediate and advanced, because you still had to go somewhere. You had to do some research.
Research is pretty easy with Google.
With Google?
Maps.
You know what, though? A lot of people, and I'm going to throw men under the bus a little on this one, because I feel like sometimes like little things, even like picking dates, right? It's like just freaking Google or go to Yelp. But for whatever reason, it's like, what do you want to do? And you maybe are underestimating that even a little research can go a long way. Like there's a lot of people out there that are doing nothing.
No kidding. There's nothing more that I appreciate than a man just planning out a date and just sending me a text saying 7:30, this is where we're meeting. Hope this is a good choice. Like that's it. That's all I want to hear.
That's like a baby step here.
Yeah. I don't need you to send me like 6,000 Yelp reviews and let me decide which one. Like, no. You just decide.
I actually just tell somebody what time, and I'll be picking, because I generally like to pick them up. I like driving, and I will tell them like to wear a certain type of shoe. Like maybe we're going for a walk, right? So then I don't want her to be uncomfortable. So I'm just like, bring comfy shoes. I'm not saying you have to wear them, but at least bring.
Okay, I just thought of one. You guys let me know what level or where this falls, because I'm also very mixed on this grand gesture or small thing, whatever you want to classify it as. So I dated this guy. He was never my boyfriend, but we dated for a month or two, and every date we had, he would come and pick me up in an Uber. So he lived literally across across town, right. And he would come and get me in an Uber every single time. And it felt really chivalrous to me, but I also it felt like unnecessary to me. Mm-hmm. Like I felt like also we would get to the date and then he'd like ask to split the check like for dinner or whatever. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, well, and I'm like, well, you just spent like $50 on an Uber. And like, there was actually even one time we wanted to go see a movie and it wasn't playing in SF for some reason. It was only in Daly City, but it was literally going to play in SF the next day. So he told me that he was going to drive, he was going to drive us. So I thought he was going to take his car. Nope. And he ended up picking me up in an Uber. And it literally was like $100 ride to Daly City, or maybe like $50. I don't know exactly how much it was. I didn't see the Uber receipt, but it was not cheap. I was just like, why? It just felt very unnecessary to me. But I also think it was like, I don't know, it was nice. I feel bad saying that because it came from a good place.
Yeah, the first time you told me that, Julie, I was kind of thinking, wow, this guy just has his priorities wrong. I mean, like at this transportation, maybe someone told him like it's chivalrous to pick her up for every date. But now that I'm hearing the story for the second time, I just think that maybe he got like a $2,000 gift certificate to Uber for Christmas one year.
Did he work for Uber?
Or maybe he worked for Uber. He's like, I gotta spend the credit.
He had no affiliation with Uber at all. And also it's like there were times that we literally would meet in the middle of the two of our houses. I'm like, it doesn't even, I think the logical side, I'm like extremely just, I don't know, like that part drove me a little nutty. But again, like I don't want to like poo-pah someone's niceness. So I would love your thoughts. What do you guys think?
This is a prime example of doing something for someone that's not tailored towards them. You did not go on dates with this guy and said, I really prefer for a guy to pick me up for dates. You never said that. He's doing it for himself, thinking that you would benefit as well, but obviously it was not tailored to you.
I think if you do it, the first time, you don't know what the person likes, right? So I think it is a nice gesture. At least, depending on where he's from. I grew up in the Midwest, and you even said that was a chivalrous move. And people say chivalry is dead in this day and age, and I would say on coasts, it probably is to a certain degree dead. And the only reason like the Midwest and the South still have some chivalry is because traditions just take a little bit longer there to die out. So there were certain things I was brought up to do. I mean, what's your opinion on like opening a door for somebody?
Oh, I think it's great.
I've had women in San Francisco who are like, I can do it myself. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you're physically capable of doing it yourself.
I know. That's where the blurred lines are.
You know what? I actually thought of a level 1 or a beginner. I don't even know what levels we're on anymore, but I thought of a beginner that is one of my biggest pet peeves if someone doesn't do it. It's when you're walking together and someone's walking ahead of you instead of like next to you and like almost like protecting you. I've had it happen to me. I've seen it. I've observed it on other dates. So I don't know. Maybe this isn't even like a beginner. It might be like one of those pre-ones again, like looking things up on Google and Yelp, but maybe the bar is just set so low.
Yeah, maybe that's common sense to some of us, but not common sense to others. I've also heard from some women that they get bothered when the guy doesn't walk on the outside of them.
Right.
I thought that's what you were going to say. Because like, yeah, and if you're talking about the traditional mode of like being a protector, then yeah, you walk close to the street side because my body can take getting hit by a car better than yours. Or no, or you know, if there's a puddle, you know, you're kind of protecting her from being splashed by the puddle. I thought that's where you were going to go. I've never heard of somebody walking in, unless like maybe if you're in a rush and you're like, babe, let's go, and then maybe I'll lead a little bit more, like if we're super late. But on a regular basis, it sounds odd.
I've had it happen to me and I've observed it of other people.
I would hate that. I would just feel so alone. Like they're leaving me in the dust.
I remember I was like at a restaurant with one of my best friends and we like saw this guy that she just like hated. Like, I don't remember. I think she, like, a friend of hers dated him or something. And he was out with a new girl and they left the restaurant. And she's like, that fucker, he is walking ahead of her. Like, you know, it's just like, it was just something that we both noticed. It was like one of the first instincts.
I was just thinking about when a guy does walk in front, think about the underlying reason for that. He is probably focused on something in his head and not even thinking about the girl.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Not to get political, but like look at the way the Obamas would walk together versus the way that the Trumps walk together. You know, he just gets out of the car and he's like going. You know, doesn't wait. He being the trumpeter himself, he doesn't wait to wait for Melania to come out. He's obviously slightly self-focused, we'll say. Honestly, that could be a sign that like, okay, is he a self-centered person? If he's walking ahead like that, I would venture to say he probably is more self-centered than I would want someone to be.
Right. No, I think that's exactly what all of this is, right? It's like little things that can show someone that you are an equal to them, that you care about them. And when you don't do stuff like this and you do opposites, it has those repercussions and feelings. You know what, though? I think it's the little things for some reason. I mean, we can definitely talk about grand gestures because I would love to know if either one of you have either given or gotten a grand gesture, but I can't even like think of one off the top of my mind, yet I can think of a bunch of the little things. So I'm wondering if one, I've either just never gotten a grand gesture, or two, the little things do actually stick out more because like they're more unexpected.
Well, if you go back to this financial analogy again about the investment, I remember I had a friend in college. Right after college, he was dating this girl that he was really into. And every few weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks, he would do something really grand. Like he bought her a diamond necklace on their third date. He told her he loved her and gave her this like ginormous Patrick doll. I don't know if you remember this. It's like a ginormous dog from FAO Schwartz that's no longer in business.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. It's like the size of a human it's like a $200 doll or whatever, stuffed animal. So he gave that to her on their 1 month anniversary. And then on their like 2nd month anniversary, he took her on a trip to Hawaii. And I was like, where do you go from here? You know, where do you go? What are you going to get her at 1 year? Like a jet plane? Like, I don't know what's happening here. And he was even like, it's a lot of pressure. And he felt, this is the thing with grand gestures. And I'm not trying to dismiss or undermine all grand gestures, but to him, he felt like he needed to do these things because she was out of his league. But they weren't actually from his heart. They were actually out of fear and insecurity. So in the end, it kind of...
It's a mask.
It's a mask, and it backlashed because their relationship only lasted 6 months. Because she was just kind of like, why are you doing so many things for me? Like, how are we supposed to have a real relationship if you just keep on adding on these gifts?
Yeah. I want to dive into this even more, but before we do, let's take a quick break to hear from our partners. When it comes to holiday gifting, I want to give things that people really love. Beautiful, timeless pieces they'll wear for years. That's why I'm going with Quince. From Mongolian cashmere sweaters to Italian wool coats, everything is premium quality at a price that actually makes sense. Quince truly has something for everyone too. I'm obsessed with their cashmere sweaters, so much that I own 3 of them. They are so soft and luxurious, and they never pill. It feels like they should cost over $200, but they are only $50. What a steal. My whole wardrobe at this point is pretty much Quince. The craftsmanship shows in every detail, the stitching, the fit, the drape. It's elevated, timeless, and made to wear on repeat. I have my eye on their jewelry, pajamas, and robes that are definitely making it on my gift list. I may just need to buy the stainless steel bracelet Apple Watch band for myself too. Find gifts so good you'll want to keep them with Quince. Go to quince.com/dateable for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/dateable to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dateable.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.
You may have heard about our new Finding Your Person coaching app, and we're excited to announce a special holiday promo for 20% off and that it's now on Android as well. If you're new here or haven't heard about it, we partnered with Studio.com to create an AI-powered app combined with our best-selling Finding Your Person program. After 10 years of doing Dateable, we kept hearing the same thing. I wish I had support in the moment when I'm actually dealing with this stuff. So now you have a dating coach in your pocket to use whenever you want. Using AI also allows this app to be 100% personalized to you based on exactly what you're going through. You'll get audio lessons from us, Dateable podcast recommendations, and even customized exercises we've created. There's even audio or written journaling where you'll get real-time feedback and encouragement and a coach you can talk to identify patterns and growth. The best part is that you can try it for 7 days, and if you're not happy, you can get your money back, no questions asked. Our goal is to help as many people as possible, and we're continuously blown away by how innovative this technology is. To get your 20% off, go to studio.com/dateable now until January 2nd. That's studio.com/dateable. No code required to claim the special holiday price. Enjoy. Sometimes the grand gesture, there's this feeling like that someone did something wrong and that's why they're doing a grand gesture to get themselves out of it. I think there's something about the little things that just make it feel that's more like natural through your relationship opposed to something so big that you're wondering why they're doing it. Like it could be that they did something wrong, or like you just said with your friend, like what is up with this person? Does he not feel like we're equals or whatever it is that he keeps doing this type of stuff?
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting what you said about the covering up something wrong, because I actually hadn't really thought about that way, but I'm wondering, did you do something wrong recently? Because I only say this because the last time I heard that, like one time, one of my friends from college, she had a baby, and I got some flowers, and I was just taking them to, I was going seeing her after her baby, and some guy on the street saw me with the flowers, and he's like, "Oh, you effed up," thinking that I was giving the flowers. I mean, he didn't know who I was giving them to, right? So he assumed I was giving them to a significant other. But the first thought in his head was that you effed up. That's why you're giving flowers. So maybe that is the way that some guys and gals do think, right? They do use gifts as a way of covering up a mistake.
But what we're really talking about here is an act of service. So it's not so much gift giving. It's not material. It's just an act of I love you or I'm thinking about you. And why these little acts of service build up over time to give you really high returns. And also, like we said, they're just low commitment. They really don't consume too much of your time. And your girlfriend or boyfriend could really appreciate them.
By the way, I also want to talk, you're talking about grand gestures and you weren't sure whether you've gotten one. I'm sure you have. It's unfortunate that it's not like sticking in your head.
Right.
That might be the point. I mean, like there is one that for me, it was a grand gesture that someone did for me. And it was, it wasn't the actual item. It was a gift, but it was the amount of effort that went into that gift. So like, we walked into a store one time and I saw this suit that was amazing. I really loved it, but they didn't have my size. And I had them check like, the 4 or 5 stores in town, and they didn't have it. But she somehow took a picture of the tag, and she ended up calling like 40 or 50 stores across the country.
Wow.
And got me the suit. It's a suit I still wear. I mean, and it wasn't about the suit. It was just, for me, when I think about it, it's just the effort that she went to. That's definitely not a small gesture. That's a large gesture.
You know what I think it is it's the definition of grand gesture. Like, I wouldn't have thought that. When I think of grand gesture, I think of like someone coming in with like a knight in like an armor on like a horse.
On a first date last year.
You what?
I took somebody on a hot air balloon ride on a first date.
That's a grand gesture.
That is a grand gesture. Yeah, like something like, like not to undermine what she did. I think that's amazing. But that to me falls under more of the small gesture. Like, even though it does require effort, I guess it's just maybe it's a personal definition thing, like how we couldn't classify these into level 1, level 2 to level 3 versus beginner advanced. Like, I think maybe people have different views of what's a grand gesture versus what's kind of an act of service and small thing of kindness. Like, for me, I think of a grand gesture as like something that's like winning you back. I don't know why I think that. But
with a boombox.
Yeah, like that's
outside your window.
Yeah, I just think of like, I don't know why. I don't know. Even flowers, like I don't think of that as like a grand gesture. I think of that as like a nice thing to do for someone.
What about being outside your window holding a blue French horn?
Oh, How I Met Your Mother reference.
I would say that's a pretty grand gesture.
I mean, yeah, you could go to jail for it.
Yeah, okay, I would say that's a grand gesture. I mean,
and all your neighbors can hear.
Ted Mosby on How I Met Your Mother was full of grand gestures. Like,
but he also did the little things. Like, there were things like, remember that date he did for Stella where she only had 5 minutes for lunch, like their first date, and he mixed in all these little things. And he even had a cab pick her up and take her, 20 feet. So,
That's cute.
But then I think it's knowing your audience again, because he did this really grand gesture for Robin while we're going down this rabbit hole. Is he had like an orchestra and like roses all over her apartment. Do you remember this? And she was so turned off by it. So it really just, again, goes back to like what's going to resonate with that person.
Yeah, true.
So if there is no formula... Unfortunately, I think people might have been expecting a formula. But if there isn't one, how can people start to like train themselves to be aware of like what their partner is looking for? When is too early to start doing this? And like, how can they start taking these like small beginner steps?
Paying attention. It's like there's a little bit of emotional intelligence involved. There's if that doesn't naturally come, I would say get into a habit of just spending 1 minute a day thinking about something that your loved one likes. Just get yourself out of your own head and just 60 seconds a day, just force yourself to do that, to think about, what did I observe today in my daily life that he or she would like, or what did I observe in the time that I was with him or her that she really liked, and then just kind of take these mental notes. But if it doesn't actually come to you, it's like it's developing a habit like any other habit. Put it on a schedule, force yourself to do it for 60 seconds.
60 seconds, that's not a big time commitment. No, I'm saying that's not a big time commitment. I'm saying people can really enjoy, like, that's very easily attainable.
Yeah.
It's no different than doing physical therapy or working out. It's just getting into a habit of, forcing yourself out of your normal habits to do it. And it's just, people don't necessarily think about these things, but like I said, doing that for a minute a day is definitely a worthwhile investment for you and for the person that you love.
But I also like what you said is I can almost hear some of our listeners saying, it's just not who I am to do these small gestures. I'm not wired to do it. I always say, 1, everyone's wired to do this. But 2, get out of your head, because it's not about you. A relationship is about you and the other person. So what if you removed yourself from the equation and thought about, what is it that would make my partner happy? And that would motivate you to do some of these little things that we're talking about.
So I've had a couple guys, they're both married. They have said, don't put this out there. It's so hard. They said I'm not wired to do that. I would never do those things. And I'm like, if you love somebody, how can you not give them 30 seconds of your day?
Right.
Like, why are you even with that person if you can't think about them for 30 seconds?
Exactly.
And then when is too early to start thinking about this stuff?
Depends on how much you like that person, right? And I think if you don't like that person, if you are not compelled to do that, then you should maybe question, why am I with this person?
What else is in this boyfriend manual? I'm very curious.
Oh, there's more.
I got a lot of it down on writing. There's other topics beyond just the small things. It's like, there's a whole section on, like, I dated somebody who was really into purses and bags. When I was younger, maybe even today, I still don't understand what the fascination is, but it's not about what makes me happy, right? It's about what makes her happy. Like,
exactly.
She's fine with a 32-inch TV versus I want like a 65-inch TV, right?
Yeah.
And who am I to judge what makes her happy?
Yeah.
It was eye-opening to me when I was like, again, it shouldn't matter what I think of it. I'm not going to say I was self-centered, but it's just like actually thinking about things from the other person's perspective.
My mom will always say, you can't expect other people to think like you.
Yeah.
I will say probably the easiest thing to do in the world.
Okay.
If you're having a fight or you're bringing up a criticism of somebody, or you're about to get into an argument, or you're in the middle of an argument, start off by saying, babe, I love you, and then go into what you're going to say. Super easy, simple, but that way the person knows that you're not like attacking them. You're saying it from a place because you care. That's why you're telling them these things.
Right.
That goes so far because, again, you know that the person loves you, and then it just sets up a debate as opposed to a fight. Or even, fights are fine too, but it sets the context in a good place.
Yeah, but
that's great.
Only say it if you really do love them, though.
True, of course.
It can't be the first time you're saying it. Should we talk about some takeaways? Because I feel like there's a lot that we can learn from this conversation. Because I feel that is what it is. When you are so into someone, you just naturally want to do these things. Ask your partner what's something that you did recently that made them happy. Because sometimes we don't know. So maybe start opening that conversation. Maybe your partner tells you something really surprising. Like, I really loved it when you put ice cubes in my tonic water. Could be a really small thing, but it made her happy. And once you kind of know what makes her happy, it's like a drug. You get addicted to making someone happy. And that's how it all starts.
That's a really good point, too, because even if you don't have a history with them, you can say, like, how did someone else make you happy? Or, like, what's been making you happy lately? And then you can start to gleam into their personality of, like, what their love language is, or even just, like, having the conversation about love languages. I think so much of this conversation was really being attuned to how others receive love, and then how also you can give and match how they receive, even if it's not necessarily your love language by default.
What's your takeaway, Julie?
I think
she just said it.
Yeah, that was definitely one. I think my other one is that it's easy to make excuses that we're just like not wired this way. It's not natural. Like,
I don't have the time.
Yeah. And like you said, it takes like 30 seconds to write a note, or like you can train yourself to just think about like what makes this person happy. Like, it's not big time commitments. And I think that actually might help people make these gestures if like they're the type of person that just doesn't do it. Maybe the grand gesture or something big is too overwhelming. So having these like small attainable ones, maybe this is a path to get them on the grand gesture, right? Or at least do something that makes them and their partner feel comfortable. Because I think, like, to Yue, your story earlier, like, you also don't want to like burn out, and you don't want it to feel like forced on either party. So it's a line of doing something that's sustainable, that's natural, that feels good, versus feeling like you have to do it. And I think that's the mindset shift that needs to happen.
Yeah, and if you feel like you have to do it, what did you do wrong? What are you trying to make up for?
Exactly.
Well, and if it feels forced, for me, and I hadn't really thought about this before, but something I said, I think 5 minutes ago, it was, if you can't get yourself to invest a minute or two of time, then like you should probably question why you're with that person, right?
Yep.
And I mean, there's a great quote. This is an ex-girlfriend of mine. First one I did the towel for. But she has a great quote that said, love is like a fart. If you have to force it, it's probably shit.
Wow.
Wow, mic drop right there.
Truer words. And Vasanth, how many times have you done the towel move? Just out
That's
of curiosity.
your signature move. I love
Or
it.
number of people, or how many times have I done it?
Number of people.
Probably for all of my significant like long-term relationships.
Okay.
And have they all had the same reaction to it?
Who doesn't want to wear? I mean, I do that for my nephew. When we were doing bath time, I would just go and throw his towel in the dryer. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love that?
Okay, you reminded me of one last Ted Mosby comment for How I Met Your Mother, because I remember he did this grand gesture for Robin again that he like set up. She was like really sad around the holidays, and he set up Christmas lights that went to a song and just like this big thing in their living room. And I remember Marshall, his best friend, was like, would you do that for me? And he's like, of course you would do that for me. And I think that is like something to think about, is with small gestures, grand gestures, like when it feels forced is when you're trying to get something out of it. If it's something that's just in your nature and you would do it for a friend, you would do it for like a family member, like it isn't necessarily someone that you're getting something back from in a romantic relationship. That's when it feels authentic. That's when you don't get these like icky feelings of like, why is this person doing this? And this feels like it feels forced, right? So yeah, everyone has different levels. Like I think people that are just more natural, like acts of service people might feel more inclined to do this stuff for everyone in their lives. But maybe like to kind of ease up to romantic relationships, especially if you're not in one right now, maybe you can just look at the other people in your lives and like start to practice and like say like, are there ways that I can make their life better? And just start with these small gestures in all aspects of your love life that aren't necessarily tied to an outcome.
Yep.
Now, all this is assuming that someone is not narcissistic, they're not overly self-centered. Unfortunately, we're in a society right now where more and more people are becoming self-centered. If they just care about themselves, it's hard to get them to switch. So just, this isn't going to apply to 100% of the population, unfortunately.
If you've listened this whole episode from the beginning to the end, then you definitely...
And you probably care.
You care, yeah.
And I think that's why we wanted you on this episode, is because there's all this... I don't know, all this conversation out there of just like men being shit and like all this stuff. And it's like, no, let's hear from some good men out there that really are just trying to like make their partner happy. And again, like we said, doesn't have to be men, but there was this really great quote that we put up on Instagram that I want to like end with that I think is so funny that we got a very large response from. So someone tweeted, they said, it's 2020 and the fuckboys are no longer thriving. It was a text thread, and it was basically from fuckboy Daniel. That's who it was from. It said, hey stranger, winky face. And then her response was, laugh out loud, Daniel, you're gonna have to be more creative than that. I had a video Hinge date the other night and he literally serenaded me with his guitar while I ate.
Yeah, bitch.
I think we thought Me Too was going to end bro culture, but I think coronavirus is helping us kind of all set up for these gestures, small or large.
That's right. And he needs to read the boyfriend manual. Just curious, is this an actual published manual? Like, could someone download the PDF somewhere?
No, and I never got around to finishing it. It was going to be a website, and I do own those domains. I own, like, the original intention was for it to be like boyfriend manual and girlfriend manual. And you go there to get advice and also give advice for the opposite sex. And it was going to be a ecosystem that's self-sustaining. So I don't have to generate all the content. But I've got a lot of other entrepreneurial projects. And
yo, what are you doing with your quarantine time? Let's get this started. You already got the domains.
Oh my God, no, I'm starting a new business there, and then I've got my day job, and then there's something where my dad and I are working on a vaccine delivery system for coronavirus. So
okay, that's more important.
How do I prioritize?
Okay, fine. Yep. Well, Vasanth, when you're done delivering vaccines, maybe you can work on this website and we'll be fully behind you if you want some content contributors. But in the meantime, have it in your mind. Know what your manual's about so you can put it down in writing eventually.
Yeah. In our Facebook group, someone posted about like a how to date me manual, which I think is good because it helps people like self-reflect. But maybe if you're in a partnership, it could be like, how can I date this person? And you're coming at it as creating your own boyfriend manual. So it doesn't need to be like something that you download. And again, what we've learned from this episode is it all really works a lot better when it's custom tailored anyways. So really just like everyone can kind of create their own manual.
Cool.
Ideally, yeah.
All right. I think we can wrap this up. I think we have a lot of great tidbits for everyone, staying positive and also just getting out of our own minds and just start thinking about other people. I think that's like the main takeaway I have here. Thank you so much, Vasanth, for all your time and telling us about your boyfriend manual, parts of it, just a little teaser of it. Can't wait for the full manual, the full IKEA manual. How to be a
Level
good boyfriend.
1. I'm still on the levels, beginner moves that people can do.
On that note, I'm going to say, listeners, we love you. I mean it. And we request that if you could possibly leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, that would mean the whole world to us because we love you. Thank you.
Let us know your small gestures. I think everyone has a bunch up their sleeve, so let's hear them from other people out there.
Let's do it. Wrapping this up. Stay dateable.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.